AVU 25 News Now weekends at 5:30.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Amaya Norman. 2 people are dead and at least 14 others injured after a shooting in downtown Austin early Sunday. Police say officers responded to a gunfire at a popular bar in the 6th Street Entertainment District. 3 of the injured remain in critical conditions. Investigators say the suspect first fired a pistol from inside a car, then got out and began shooting with a rifle. 3 officers returned fire, killing the suspect. Authorities say there is evidence the attack may have a possible connections to terrorism. Federal investigators are now assisting. An Iranian state media has confirmed the death of its supreme leader after a massive U.S.-Israeli attack on the country's U.S. President Donald Trump says those attacks will continue with heavy bombing throughout the week. Here's the latest.
A missile intercept heard over the suburbs of Dubai as Iran launches a fresh wave of strikes across the Middle East Sunday morning. Retaliation continuing after the death of its supreme leader during a U.S.-Israeli strike on the country.
The Iranian regime clearly feels that they are on their death ground. They are going to fight to the bitter end at this point.
U.S. President Donald Trump warning Iran against continued retaliation, saying in a social media post that they would be met with unprecedented force from the U.S. The FBI's counterterrorism and counterintelligence teams are on elevated alert across the U.S., according to a bureau official. Meanwhile, concerns are rising that retaliations could disrupt the oil trade.
I think at risk is the Strait of Hormuz. 20% of the world's oil goes through there. Terrorism, attacks against American citizens, American diplomats.
President Trump has indicated the military operation is aimed at overturning Tehran's government, following failed diplomatic negotiations over Iran's nuclear program.
Whoever takes power is going to have to fight the remnants of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and any of the supporters of the previous Ayatollah.
Across the U.S., people took to the streets, some in celebration.
We want democracy, the end of terrorism, and we want the world to pay attention and be with us.
Others in protest.
We had, felt the need to come out and oppose any kind of U.S. intervention or war in the Middle East.
I'm Michael Yoshida reporting.
3 U.S. service members have been killed in what's being called Operation Epic Fury, according to U.S. Central Command. 5 others are reported seriously wounded. It's unclear how the troops were killed, but Iran has been striking U.S. military bases across the region in retaliation since Saturday. The escalation follows joint U.S.-Israeli attacks that killed Iran's supreme leader. Earlier, President Trump warned that American troops could be killed during the operation. And at least 9 people have been taken to the hospital after a mass shooting at a music venue in Cincinnati. Overnight, police said they responded to the shooting around 1 a.m. Officers at the scene told local media that 9 people suffered 9 non-life-threatening gunshot wounds. There's no information about the suspect or what led to the shooting. Cincinnati's mayor issued a statement thanking police and first responders and offered prayers for the victims. Today is the first day of what meteorologists like our own Jacob Lozano consider spring. So on that note, let's take a look at our weather as we head into the week. Jacob.
That's right, Amaya. It is finally spring within the meteorological world side, and no way to better start it than with a little bit of fog that we had this morning and temperatures with 78 degrees and sunny and the winds coming out of the Gulf at about 16 miles per hour. I think that spells victorious spring right to the T there, and we're going to be seeing that once again for tomorrow with some very humid mornings here. Slowly starting to see those temperatures rise into the mid 60s in some areas, and we're likely to be seeing that fog return again here for tonight into tomorrow morning with it more widely dense up the 59 corridor as you head towards Wharton. But eventually we'll start to see some dissipation here as we head through 9 o'clock for tomorrow morning. Now it's still going to be a bit warm here with some very strong breezes pulling through here off the Gulf, with temperatures looking into the mid to low 80s here with some upper 80s along the 37 corridor. But rain chances are now back in our forecast for this week. It's going to be a great opportunity to get some rain. We'll talk about that coming up. Amaya?
Thank you, Jacob. A semi-truck fleeing police struck multiple civilian vehicles and police cruisers before officers fired on the driver. Here are the details.
He's running over civilian vehicles. He's running over civilian vehicles.
Around 6:14 p.m., Akron police were called to assist a neighboring agency in the 1700 block of East Market Street after receiving information that a semi-truck fled from officers in a different jurisdiction.
The driver of the semi-truck went to exit the parking lot, struck multiple cruisers en route, headed westbound on East Market Street. They struck a number of civilian vehicles as well. Before striking another police cruiser.
Moments later, 2 Akron police officers shot at the suspect multiple times.
Shots fired, shots fired, shots fired.
Striking him at least once. The suspect was taken to the local hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
This is a worst case scenario, a terrible incident for us to be involved in, and we never want to have to use lethal force. So I just want to make sure that we state that. But again, we're fortunate that this didn't turn out any worse than it already has, and we're thankful that none of our officers were injured.
BCI told News 5 they were requested by Akron police to investigate the officer-involved shooting. The 2 officers involved has 6 and 3 years of police service. Lieutenant Michael Murphy says in his 18 years of service, he has never encountered an incident like this.
The capabilities that a semi-truck has in terms of the power, striking police vehicles, striking vehicles of citizens in our community. So again, we're just extremely thankful that this didn't turn out to be any worse than it already is.
The Fraternal Order of Police in a statement to News 5 stating tonight's officer-involved shooting is a good reminder of the chaos that can engulf area residents when evildoers prey on the innocent. And every officer involved should be applauded for their restraint, patience, and diligence in responding to this dangerous situation.
As Election Day for the March primaries approaches, there are a few elections that have been changed by the new redistricting map. The most notable changes occurred in the U.S. House of Representative districts. District 15 now includes the crossroads counties of DeWitt, Goliad, Refugio, and Lavaca. Monica Dela Cruz is running unopposed on the Republican ticket and will face either Bobby Peluto or Ada Cuellar in the November election. For U.S. House District 27, incumbent Micah Cloud is facing Chris Hatley in the primary. The winner of that election will take on the Democratic nominee, who will either be Tanya Lloyd, Wayne Rosh, or Stock Castro Mendoza. Election day is Tuesday, March 3rd. And the Victoria County Commissioner Court will meet Monday at 10 a.m. at the Victoria County Courthouse in room 241. Commissioners are set to discuss several items on the agenda. One item includes considering approval of a request from the Victoria County Fire Marshal Office to help Placido Volunteer Fire Department cover an unexpected truck repair bill and just over $1,200. They will also consider approving a lease agreement between Calhoun County ISD and the Victoria County Public Health Department's WIC program. Additional agenda items will also be discussed during the meeting. And for more local news, content, weather, and sports, come to our website at crossroadstoday.com. And if you see news happening, let us know. Call the number on your screen to contact our newsroom or email us your tips at staff@crossroadstoday.com. OPEC is pumping more oil as Mideast tensions threaten to send gas prices soaring. Details next.
And temperatures today got up to the low 80s for the high, but we did start off a little bit humid at 62 degrees. Here's our new averages for the month, as well as a fresh restart for the month of March. On our rain totals, we're still about 3.14 inches off from what we should be, but we do have those rain chances in our forecast. We'll talk about that coming up.
Welcome back. In Washington tonight, lawmakers from both parties with serious questions over the U.S.-Israeli attack without congressional approval. Here's ABC's Mary Bruce.
Tonight, those images of President Trump monitoring the airstrikes from Mar-a-Lago before addressing the American people.
We're doing this not for now. We're doing this for the future, and it is a noble mission.
Just 4 days ago, the president told the American people the U.S. had already wiped out Iran's nuclear program.
The United States military obliterated Iran's nuclear weapons program.
But the president now insists, without providing evidence, that Iran was swiftly rebuilding and that negotiations led by his son-in-law Jared Kushner and Mideast envoy Steve Witkoff had failed.
They've rejected every opportunity to renounce their nuclear ambitions, and we can't take it anymore.
Trump did not seek congressional authorization for this campaign. Still, top Republicans in Congress giving their seal of approval.
God bless the president for executing this mission, because this is not just changing for today. This is world changing for years to come.
But other Republicans voicing concerns. Congressman Thomas Massie of Kentucky saying this is not America first. The Constitution requires a vote, and your representative needs to be on record as opposing or supporting this war. Democrats sounding the alarm.
As an Iraq War veteran, someone that had to go into some very dangerous situations, saw way too many of my friends die in the war. It really is scary how quickly we just lurched to war without any plans.
The top Democrat on the Senate Intelligence Committee, Mark Warner, warning. The American people have seen this playbook before. Claims of urgency, misrepresented intelligence, and military action that pulls the United States into regime change and prolonged, costly nation building. The president owes the country clear answers. What is the objective? And how does this make Americans safer? As the president huddled in Florida with top advisors, including Rubio, Chief of Staff Susie Wiles, CIA Director John Ratcliffe, and Joint Chiefs Chairman General Dan Kane. Watching from Washington, Vice President J.D. Vance and Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard, who in the past both strongly opposed more foreign wars. In October, Vance saying this.
The American people are done with American troops dying in unnecessary foreign conflicts.
But tonight, the U.S. has attacked Iran. The president announcing the supreme leader is dead and the operation continues, but not saying whether it will take days or weeks.
Now, the administration is supposed to brief members of Congress this coming week, but the president has yet to fully make the case for this war directly to the American people. His State of the Union address was just a few days ago, but the president not mentioning possible strikes on Iran until an hour and 20 minutes into those remarks. Mary Bruce, ABC News, the White House.
OPEC says it will increase oil productions as Mideast tensions threaten global markets. The 8-member group plans to boost output by 206,000 barrels per day starting in April to ease market concerns. More than 20% of the world's oil passes through the Strait of Hormuz, where many tankers owners are now suspending shipments. U.S. crude oil closed Friday at $67 a barrel and expected to top $70 when trading opens Sunday evening. And the 80th Victoria Livestock Show is nearing a close as all the 4-H and FFA members are recognized for their work leading up to this year's event. 25 News Now reporter Trenton Whiting is live on the scene. Trenton, what is it looking like over there?
Well, Amaya, it's been looking pretty good for Mr. Derek Hempel here, who has just been awarded Grand Champion for Junior Breeding Heifer and Market Steers. So, Mr. Hempel, I just want to ask you, what kind of work goes into becoming a Grand Champion? And obviously showing has been your generations in your family, so if you could touch on that as well. But first, let's start off with the work it takes to reach that level.
Yes, sir, it takes a lot of work. I'm always out there blowing and washing and feeding every night, and walking my steers and my heifers down the road. It takes a lot of work to do all that.
Absolutely. Well, it's been in your family. It's been in your family for a while. Siblings, mother, whole family, really. So what does it mean to be able to bring this to your family, especially keeping that line going? Kind of hard to say, right?
It took me a lot of work to get here to this point. I couldn't do it without my mom and dad and my brothers.
That's awesome. I'm sure they're very proud of you. So thank you for taking the time. It took a lot of work to get here. And actually, all of our exhibitors will be auctioning tomorrow starting at around 4:30. So make sure you come out and support them as they exhibit these animals one last time. Thank you, Derek, for taking the time. Back to you, Amaya.
Thank you, Trenton. Now experience our digital streaming service Crossroads Today Plus. Stream our daily newscasts and much more using your connected TV. Just download Crossroads Today Plus on your Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, or Android TV. Search Crossroads Today Plus.
Well, sunny, clear skies and 78 degrees, so feeling like 80 outside with that breeze pumping some more moisture in our area at the south-southeast at 16 miles per hour. We'll talk about this rain chance that we're going to be getting here for this week coming up. Now, as we start our first week of March here in meteorological spring as well, we're going to notice temperatures still are going to be above average, still in the mid to low 80s for the work week. But also with that is going to be these strong gusty winds that are going to be associated out of the south-southeast here. We're looking at 4 p.m. Friday with gusts at around 20 miles per hour, sustained at about 15, as well as Tuesday. Now we're getting the 25 mile per hour gust winds here around the region, especially along the 59 corridor as it moves down south here. And we go to Tuesday once again, and we're still going to be seeing these strong gusty winds. So this is going to be the similar pattern that we're going to be in as we head through the week. But here's what's different. So high pressure is going to continue to sit on top of us and move out towards the Gulf here by Tuesday. We've got two disturbances that we're watching. We're watching one right over Colorado, and we're watching one out in the Pacific. Talking about the first one over Colorado here for Tuesday at 6 p.m. This will send a weak frontal boundary down south. Unfortunately, it doesn't make it to us here in the Crossroads, but it does stall out a little bit north of Bexar County. But with the instability and the moisture that is getting picked up here, we're likely going to be seeing some shower development pick up for us Tuesday into Wednesday. But then we're watching this system right here Thursday as it becomes more of a cutoff low and lingers around Baja California. That's going to look like our best rain chance because it'll start to pump moisture from the Pacific over us here in the Victoria Crossroads. So let's take a look at what future track's going to be showing us. Going to keep it on the modest side here with relatively foggy mornings, and we're going to be sticking around into the drier afternoons. But we get to Tuesday in the afternoon time, and that's where we'll start to see more of the 20% shower activity begin to pick up here for us here in the Crossroads region. And we'll see the similar pattern take place here as we head to Wednesday as well. But this is going to be our better opportunity for some rain this week, keeping it about 30% chance for some rain. A little bit more on the isolated shower to maybe an isolated thunderstorm potential here, and relatively more up of the 59 corridor where you could likely see some of the best shower development. We get to Thursday, as we can see right here, as we get to Thursday though, we'll start to see the shower development kind of dissipate here just a bit, keeping it still right around 20%. Notice the heavier stuff up north on Thursday, but then the Pacific moisture picks up here for Friday, And now we're starting to see some heavier showers and thunderstorms begin to develop here for us, as well as, like I mentioned, Saturday. That's going to be our best opportunity for some more rain development here for the region. And then as well as we get into Saturday night into Sunday, likely going to continue to watch here as rain chances will linger there through the week. So overall estimates, well, Wednesday we're going to be seeing right around a little bit less than half an inch around the region here, but then we get to the weekend and that's going to be our best chance for some shower activities. We can get near anywhere from an inch to an inch and a half total for the next 7 days to, if you look farther up north, they're getting close to 2.5 inches there for that region. Honestly, they need it up there as much as we need it down here, but if anything falls into the Guadalupe, it'll be beneficial either way because we are in a pretty significant drought here for us in the Crossroads. But overall, it's going to be warm tomorrow, a little bit of fog. We'll have partly cloudy skies pick up as well as those winds, as well as Cuero going to be seeing similar conditions as well. And Port Lavaca going to be continuing with a little bit of fog in the morning and the relatively warmer conditions here for us. But overall, rain chances are back in store for us. This is something that we've been really hoping for, so we're going to continue to watch this as these systems continue to progress. Now, don't forget to scan the QR code for more news, weather, and sports. And speaking of sports, we got Ray.
Thank you, Jacob. Local teams hit the diamond this weekend and some serious noise. We'll show you who came up big in the tournament action coming up in sports. This past weekend in the Crossroads, our local teams lit up the diamond in tournament action. We kicked things off with the Ganado Indians, who absolutely dominated the Sacred Heart Baseball Tournament and stormed their way to the championship title of the tournament. A huge shout out to the Indians on the statement win in what's shaping to be an exciting season ahead. And that same Sacred Heart tournament also featured the Shiner Comanches, and they put on a show. Shiner went undefeated over the weekend, starting with an 8-0 shutout against St. Joseph in Game 1. In Game 2, the Comanches stayed hot, knocking off Northside Orange, their JV team, 6-2. They advanced to the silver bracket to face St. Paul, and of course, they dominated, blanking the Cardinals 5-0. Now the Comanches turn their attention to Tuesday in a Crossroads showdown as they take on Bloomington in district play. Victoria West was also right in the middle of some baseball action this weekend. The Warriors hit the field at the Cal Island ISD tournament, playing over at Gene Caspark Field. On day 3, they had an active slate with 2 games. They opened one against McAllen and took care of business convincing fashion, cruising to a 9-2 win. In their final game of the day, the Warriors battled hard but came up just short against Sinton in a tight one, 4-2. And the Tidehaven girls basketball team is racking up some well-deserved all-season honors. Tidehaven released its District 25 3A awards, and sophomore star Adriana Aboitz was named District MVP, and senior Naomi Alameda earned District 25 3A Defensive MVP. Casey Quebeca took home co-newcomer of the year, and Sophia Garcia was named co-sixth man of the year. Ava Esquivel and Fasaris Dove also landed in the first team all-district recognition. Congratulations to Tidehaven on a successful season, and these awards just prove that they are a successful roster. The 4th-ranked Texas Longhorns squared off with the 24th-ranked Alabama earlier today. Both teams put on a show offensively, but it was the Lady Longhorns defense that set the tone, with Jordan Lee's first bucket coming off a big defensive play. Alabama answered back when they had their chances, but Texas was just too much, knocking off the Tide. Final score, 72-65. Madison Booker led the way with 21 points, followed by Jordan Lee's 11 points, finishing for second in the Longhorns regular season finale. And on to the NBA, where the Spurs had a big one against the New York Knicks. Two legit contenders in their conferences, and Victor Wembanyama looked like a man among boys, just plain and simple. As you see, Stephon Castle finds him in a pump fake, 2 long strides, and a hammer at the rim. Wemby finished with 25 points and 4 blocks, but New York once again had an answer for the Spurs and their alien. Jacob, what you think of that? Jalen Brunson went to work in the paint, taking contact and getting to the bucket, and the and one. Brunson dropped 24 points, just a tick under Mikal Bridges' 25, as New York rolled past the Spurs' final score, 114-89. The Spurs will face the 76ers on Tuesday on the road. But that does it for your sports. Amaya?
Thank you, Ray. Chicago preschoolers take a chilly plunge to health Special Olympics next. Grab your cell phone and scan this QR code. This is our quick response code to download the Crossroads Today app. You can watch us anytime, anywhere, get breaking news alerts, and vote in our viewer polls. Submit news tips and photos, and you will know all about our ongoing contest. Dozens of preschool students in Chicago took part in a mini polar plunge. Now, this Catholic school transformed one of its classrooms into a frosty water oasis. One by one, the young children took a dip with only their feet into kiddie pools filled with ice. The event was held to raise money for members of the city's largest polar plunge teams. They are way braver than me.
Yeah. I think it was just the feet, because when I heard polar plunge, I thought
the whole body.
Yeah, I was like, yo, I don't think we need to be doing this to preschoolers now.
No, that is not easy, but it's so cute. Like, look how excited they are, just waving the flags. That is pretty. That's really cute.
It is.
Yes, I love that when children learn different things. But I know it's not cold this week.
It's not cold
We're
this
back
week.
in the, I would say, springtime weather. Well,
Yes.
if you would say that.
Yes, we are definitely back in springtime weather this week. Next week, something we're going to continue to watch for, maybe a little cold front that'll come down. But it does bring back our rain chances this week, and that's definitely what we need right now. But overall, we got a little bit of fog tomorrow morning. It's going to be quite breezy throughout the day, as well as those temperatures going to remain in the 80s, a little bit more humidity in our atmosphere. So looking for Wednesday as well as the weekend for our best rain chances in our forecast.
Yes, we need the rain after all these fires is going on.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. We hope you be with us tonight for 25 News Now Weekend at 10. See you.